Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a new season of the Ysn Power Hour, brought to you by our friends at Toyota. Warren DJ Yoakley back with you. So excited to be back with you in this beautiful August day, of Monday, the 5th of August, as a matter of fact. And like I said, a brand new season of the Ysn Power Hour, all brought to you by our friends at Toyota of Warren. We are all set and ready to go. We have completed the summer. And I'm telling you what, folks, what a summer it has been. Obviously, yours truly, it's not a vacation because we're still working, we're still hustling, but we were able to cover so much. And from a personal side of things, being able to be with my family every day downstairs and still hustling and working and doing all the things that we need to do to make sure that this this butter keeps on churning, so to speak, here at YSN. Folks, what a great summer. I hope you had a great summer as well. I know some of you getting ready for school, some of you already cracking the books and cracking the playbooks as well. We got lots of football to talk about, lots of volleyball, soccer, golf, you name it. We've got it right here this season, and that's what I wanted to kind of talk about. Didn't want to book any guests today, just wanted to have a straight up conversation and wanted to tell you about kind of what our goals and mission is for this particular year based on the last 7 seasons at YSN. First, before I do any of that, I want to give a straight up shout out to Anthony Hartwig, who has been holding down the fort. I just dropped my pen. Great. Has been holding down the fort all summer long. Incredible job. He's been doing these living the dream segments, that have been stellar. And it really stretched outside of our comfort zone with that. Zero affiliation with any of these schools, which I'm super proud of him for being able to land these interviews. I think he's got 3 more, he said, before he gets fully back to the YSN family and our regular coverage or regularly scheduled programming, so to speak. But for him to continue the content all year round is not easy. It's not an easy job. And obviously some of these interviews that he's had and the limited things that he's had to talk about and continue to do a show 4 to 5 days a week has been incredible. So Anthony Hartwig, kudos to you, my friend, on continuing a phenomenal. I mean, it's yours now. It's your show. So congratulations on that. And then this show, it's got the potential to look a little bit different this year. We're looking to get guests every single day, coaches, players, community influencers, and maybe some bands. I've heard some bands want to join the show and do some stuff. And then potentially this could be something we're working on right now that could change altogether, even to a different time frame. We're looking at potentially doing some things to make it a little more, not, I wouldn't say convenient, but a little bit more impactful for you, and making the show a little bit different than what we have at 1:00 and what you'll see throughout the day on YSN. So we'll keep you in tune, and if things change, we'll keep you up to date on that. But one of the things that I definitely want to talk about was our mission for YSN this year. What our goals are in comparison to what they have been for since 2017. What has changed? What's going to stay the same? What you're going to find is there's going to be a little bit of a tilt, and what you're going to find from that standpoint, from that little encrypted message, is that the more things change, right? The more we want them to change, the more they're going to stay the same, with the reason that we're giving them to you. Our number one goal is to give you a platform that provides a heroic belonging for these student athletes, the coaches, and community influencers within their communities. Basically, we want you to bump into them down at the grocery store and treat them the same way that you would Nick Chubb or Kenny Pickett or Russell Wilson or LeBron James. We want you to understand that these are the superstars that keep your community not only intact, but give them a reason to be talked about. And from the river to the lake, I can tell you YSN does it better than anybody. And that's not a brag. That is an absolute validation of your belief in us at YSN. why it's so important. We are constantly, people just try to copycat us, and that's fine. I hope that they have as much success as we've had, but I know that the stumbling blocks that they're going to face, the obstacles that they'll face at every turn, almost blindly, I can tell you exactly what they're going to face. And most people, most organizations will say that's too much. We don't want it. You know, whether it's financial, whether it's their spiritual, whether it's why they're in this business, and it is a business. Um, a lot of times the weight won't carry. You know, the baggage doesn't transfer from one flight to the next. And we've been so fortunate in what we do at YSN and throughout the last going on, it's 7 years. This will be our 8th season at YSN, to do what we do and who we do it for and why we do it. Those aren't lost on us. There's been a lot of change. Obviously, we've gone through train derailments. We've gone through COVID. We've gone through just a change in the industry, because when we started, nobody wanted to get involved because newspapers, TV stations, radio stations gave them enough coverage, and them being whoever was in the conversation. And obviously, something changed. And what I can tell you is we were a little bit ahead of our time from a standpoint of when we started. But what I can also tell you is that we were right on time, because if we would have waited any longer, or anybody that is now in this game have waited longer, they understand that they're behind the 8 ball, and they're miles behind where we are as a group, as an organization, and as a company. One of the biggest things, one of the biggest joys in my life is bringing every single person, whether it's on my team here at YSN, whether it's in the community, whether it's the sponsors that we represent each and every night, each and every day, every time we go live, is that we want to continue to be that platform that provides that heroic sense of belonging for the youth, for the high school, for the semi-professional athletes that we represent, at every turn. And we have, I would say, arguably the best roster that we've ever had of talent, of devoted and mission oriented human beings that are ready to deliver here in 2024 and into 2025. We've had good people, we've had troubling people, we've had challenges, with rosters in the past. What I can tell you, as we continue to form our roster for this year, I think it's going to be a standout roster of a who's who, almost a superstar roster, the dream team, if you will, for all of you Olympic fans out there, of people that want to deliver it for the right reasons. And they want to deliver great content. They want to deliver great broadcasts, great streams, great shows, for these sponsors, for the schools, the communities, the players, for everybody that is a part of what we do here at YSN. And obviously, YSN stands for Your Sports Network. And as we continue to grow, we want it to be yours more than ever. We did a golf outing for the first time just a few weeks ago at Mill Creek Park, at the golf course. And I'll tell you what, it was incredible. The response we got was incredible, because of guys like Brian Tonar, who has believed in us since day one. And doing youth sports is always a challenge, because you never, ever, ever want to. You want it to be T-ball, right? Nobody gets out, because you never want to put anybody down, especially at that young age. But to be able to have the district championships and to have the playoffs, of some of these youth and championship games and tournament coverage that we had this year in softball, to be able to feed this directly through what we do at YSN, and have people trust us with their kids, it's a different feeling, because some media organizations want to treat you like you are the San Francisco 49ers, or you are you are a professional team. But the one thing that we always have to keep in the back of our minds, we're dealing with children, essentially. And I know that the 17-year-olds don't want to be referred to as children, but that's what they are. And you have to handle that a certain way. We don't want to be an organization that tries to get you gotcha journalism. That's not what we're after. Again, we want to be a place where these families, these communities feel safe, and then we celebrate the successes and we feel the failures alongside you, because there are going to be failures. There's going to be times, as we know, only one team wins that big gold trophy at the end of every season in every division. But at the same token, it's an opportunity for these kids to be celebrated throughout the seasons. These young sports student athletes and beyond to be celebrated throughout the season. And we are proud to say that we are not just a chapter in the book, but instead we give you the entire narrative. We give you the entire story from front to back. And this is a crazy world. And any of you that like sports, love sports the way that I do, the way that my team does, you understand the obstacles that are constantly being put into effect on almost an everyday basis. Because the sports industry, what used to become what used to be rather, an industry that was a second, an afterthought, right? You're a student first, and you're an athlete second. The schools are it's a business. Now the athletic teams individually are a business, and there's organizations at the top, governing bodies. There's certain schools and certain communities that believe that they are worth a certain dollar amount. And I liken it to the way that CBS is with the SEC and NBC is with Notre Dame, is that we're worth a certain dollar amount. And quite frankly, I'm going to tell you, as parents, you should be fighting this. You should be fighting this a tooth and nail. And I think schools need to understand what and where the leverage is. Now, certainly they have a right and a reason to protect your kids, but they should not be restricting the coverage that your student athlete in your home or student athletes in your home receive. Because quite frankly, at the end of the day, your student athlete needs as much coverage as they can possibly get. And let me explain why. There is a new thing in college over the last 2 or 3 years called the transfer portal. Coaches admittedly do not want to babysit your high school student who just graduated. And especially the pampered senior, and I'll say it because I think it all resonates with each of us. We all know somebody, or we've raised somebody, or we've been somebody who's been a pampered senior athlete. Because you go from your junior year, which they're preparing you to be a senior, and all of a sudden at the feet of every senior athlete nowadays, they are kings and queens. They've made it, right? It's their last season. We're going to treat them like the heroes that they are, deservedly so. But what I can tell you is this: there is a reality check that comes the second that the cap and gown come off. They graduate, and the coaches, the recruiters, the world is about to put you in your place. The biggest adjustment that any of us will ever have in our life is going from being a senior in high school to a freshman in college. It's incredible because you go from being pampered and being massaged and everybody patting you on the back to a bunch of kicks in the ass. The second you move on to campus, it's, hey, welcome. You now sleep in a dorm room the size of a broom closet, and you got to share it with this person, and you've got a public bathroom, and you got all these things. that take adjusting. But the reality and the reason I'm telling you this is most coaches are going to say, okay, we've had to kiss your tail for the last 7 months of recruiting. You're mine now. I lived that. And I was a Division III athlete, folks. I lived that. That was the first conversation that was had with myself and about 30 other freshmen who sat in a classroom and said, I've kissed your you know what's for the last 7 months. You're mine now. And I remember looking around the room and thinking, oh boy, what did I just get myself into? I'm paying to play baseball at this point. I'm paying to go to college and get a great education. But the only guy that's been in my corner since day one is the guy that just walked in and basically did a heel turn on me and said, you're mine now. That I found out that happens not just there, that happens everywhere. Because once you get to, believe it or not, the math teacher that is doubling as your high school varsity football coach or your high school varsity baseball coach or whatever it may be, his job does not determine or it doesn't depend on what the outcome of the season is. If he or she gets fired at the end of the season because they went over, they're probably, most likely, still going to be that math teacher when they go back the next semester. When you get to college, it's not that way. That baseball coach, that football coach, that track coach, whatever coach it may be in your particular sport, their livelihood depends on you coming through for them. And a lot of coaches have been burned by having to kiss the tails of these incoming freshmen, and they're like, no more. I'm done babysitting these, over characterized crybabies, and I'm done with it. They'll go into the transfer portal, and this is the God's honest truth. So if you're hearing this for the first time, please listen up, because your leverage that you used to have as a high school junior, high school senior is now gone. We're working on that. We'll get to that. But first, understand that they're going to pass up a potential star high school senior for a transfer portal freshman, sophomore, junior, even a senior. As long as they have eligibility, that transfer portal just changed the game for all of us. Why am I talking to you about this? Because your son or your daughter needs as much and as many eyes and ears on them now as they've ever had in their life. If you want that elusive scholarship, whether it be for athletics or to get into a college to continue to play sports, whether it's athletically based scholarships or academically based scholarships, you want as much notoriety around your son or daughter, around you, if it's you listening, that you can possibly get. And there is such a thing as bad press. I will tell you that. Somebody that put out there is no such thing as bad press. That's wrong. You can you can ask so many people about ask any politician about bad press. They might be the only ones that can get away with it. But what I can tell you though is the more good press, the more positive things that you can put on your resume, the more opportunities. You look at all the student athletes this past year that have gone on to play sports at the next level, college. Folks, it's not a given. I think that's what goes understated. It is not a given to play college sports. That is such an opportunity, such a blessing to play at that next level. That is not guaranteed. There's people that can't play because of physical ailments, because of injuries, because they've peaked. There's people that don't even play varsity sports that never get a shot. We have completely taken playing college sports as something that just naturally happens. It's just the next phase of life. And I think that there's so much more to that we pass on. We've taken playing college, watching our student athletes in our communities playing college sports. We've taken that for granted in so many different levels, in so many different capacities. Playing in the band at the next level is incredible. Going to college itself is a minor miracle if you really break it down. It's not a given. The work ethic that you have to put forward, it's you have to get there. You have to be able to dedicate yourself to it. But the other part is, if you're paying for pitching lessons or golf lessons or quarterback lessons, whatever it may be, the extracurriculars, that is now, sports used to be the extracurricular. Now it's the extracurriculars of, you need lessons and things that has become the extracurriculars. Just because you sign your son or your daughter up for these does not guarantee them an athletic scholarship of any kind. In fact, it doesn't even guarantee them a spot on the roster of the high school team that you're trying to make them better for. Now, travel ball, it's a little bit different. A lot of times it does help in that capacity because a lot of these different places are sponsors. I digress. What I can tell you is that we have taken this game or games for granted, that it's just going to be there. They're just going to go right down the line. I'm going to start in T-ball, and I'm going to end up playing college baseball. I'm going to walk into the minor leagues. And then, of course, I'm going to get drafted to the majors. Dreams are great. But the work has to always come first. The work has to come first. And I think the leverage that comes with it is now, interestingly, on the other foot, I guess. Colleges now have the leverage back. And what we are creating right now is something we've talked about for a long time, the last 3 or 4 years, as a matter of fact, here on YSN. It's going to go hand in hand with our platform for the heroic sense of belonging in the YSN broadcast and ysnlive.com. It's called YSN Prospect, and it's not done, but we're getting there very close. We're about 98%, and we actually started. The website's up right now, so if you want to go check it out, you're more than welcome to. ysnprospect.com. What you're going to find is a very close to finished product, which I'm not even crazy about even putting it out there. But what I'm going to tell you is I want it out there because I want the feedback. I want you to poke holes in it, and I want you to understand that this is still a Your Sports Network production. And if there's things that you think that we need to have on YSN Prospect, then it's a good time to make those adjustments from the beginning instead of trying to build the plane while it's in the air. YSN Prospect is going to be based on combines, sport-specific combines. It's going to be based on data. It's going to be based on video, real-life analytics, and they will provide profiles to which you and coaches will be able to go on at the next level and see what the potential is of that YSN prospect. So if you're little Jimmy and your exit velocity is 98 miles an hour off of fastballs on the outside portion of the plate, your coach at the next level or potential coach at the next level is going to see that. He's going to like that. You will also have an ability to see who is looking at you. So unlike these families who just create a YouTube channel and put little Johnny out there, this is going to have the ability to track if Coach A wants to see what your 60 speed is or what your 40 speed is or even what your 20 speed is. They're going to have the ability to do that. And you're going to be able to have the ability to send them a check message and say, hey, did you like what you saw? There's more where that came from, coach. Would love to talk to you. Would love to set up da-da-da-da-da. And you take the conversation from there. What I'm absolutely enamored by and why I think this is going to be an unbridled success is because the Division II, Division III, and JUCO prospects in this area, probably the bigger hotbed than any other place in this country for all sports. And the amount of colleges that we have around us in Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Michigan, you think about all these schools that potentially need to fill rosters at the Division II, Division III level. Folks, we're putting the leverage back into your corner. We're giving you the opportunities that were taken from you 2 years ago. The transfer portal, while it has its benefits, if it's not a good fit for you, trust me when I say this, the NCAA will adjust. They are never going to let the players have the power. They might make you think you do. But YSN Prospect, the players, our prospects will continue to have the power. We want you to be able to track everything. How many hits are you getting on your profile? Daily, monthly. Basically creating your own website of you, but allowing us to be in a part of that journey. That's why it's so important. So the last 3 months, when you haven't seen this ugly face on your stream, this is what we've been working on, along with other things that we will be potentially unveiling as time goes on. I'm really excited for this season. Incredibly excited for this year in sports. In case you missed it, we added another team to the YSN family. 2 teams, as a matter of fact, so far, and more, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, potentially on the cusp. Southeast joins us. The Pirates join us as part of the MVAC. We're excited to bring you Ravenna Southeast and naturally bring more. And we know one guy from the Ravenna area that's been pretty doggone good for us for a number of years, Ty Bartell, who is excited to be able to bring the Pirates into the cusp. And finally, and they've been on YSN so much because they play all of our teams, to be able to root for them and cheer for them in a way that maybe they've never had before. We're excited for that. And then just a few weeks ago, the Perry Pirates, the same Perry Pirates that won the Division V state championship in football, are now on YSN. So we're able to continue to push our coverage up to the first ever Lake County school. It's an incredible and just honor for us overall to be able to continue to stretch what we do and to stretch our boundaries and goals and to make ourselves uncomfortable, to say the least, but getting comfortable along the way with the teams that we represent. We are excited. We are excited beyond belief to be able to cover golf. But I want to remind you, we need your help. Coaches, athletic directors, parents, players, we need your help. If you want more content on YSN about you, your teams, your community, your school, your sport, we need you. And one of the biggest things that we're asking for is contact us, message us directly, send info@ysnlive.com as an email. It's again, info at ysnlive.com. Send us an email. Give us some context of what happened, the match scores, the final tallies, the statistics. Who was the story? If you want to sign up and have our player profiles, we want you to do that. We want to put the power back in your hands. We want to talk to you. Communities, if you have businesses that want to sponsor and they want to be seen. Last year, 2023, we did 12.4 million page views on ysnlive.com alone. That doesn't even scratch the surface on social media, which we are absolutely killing it thanks to a guy named Anthony Hartwig. Tens of thousands of people follow us every single day and wait for our social media posts. That's opportunity for businesses, from the lake to the river to get involved. And not just independently with one school. You can get involved with every school and be seen everywhere. We are prime time all the time. This is not a commercial, I promise you. We are prime time all the time. And we're only getting bigger. And I think that is a huge opportunity for some of these community businesses, these small businesses, car dealerships, breweries, everything. I mean, you name it. We've had it all. Insurance companies, all of it. If you like sports and you know that people that are competitive who love sports are watching YSN, and more than we can even fathom to guess, are going to be watching this year. Because opening night, ladies and gentlemen, just a couple weeks, there's only going to be one spot to be, and that's ysnlive.com. From Audible Call with Mike Ackelson all the way down to Thursday night games, Friday night games. Do we have a Saturday game? I know we got Saturday volleyball. The opportunities here. And what I can tell you is, before we take a little commercial break and we get back on the rails here, what I can tell you is that we are not going to stop doing what we do better than anybody else. And that's live streaming games. That's having great conversations with great people in great communities and continue to influence the way that people watch and consume local sports. That is my promise to you. That part won't change. Maybe how it's packaged, maybe how it's delivered, that might come to a little bit of a turn. But folks, what I can promise you is, when we started this thing, we set out a goal. The way I see it, we're on the 20-yard line with 80 yards in front of us. We're not even close to where we want to be. And I can tell you that we will continue to strive to do our best until we cross that goal line for you. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Still more conversation about the year and maybe the 10 high school football teams that have the most intriguing storylines coming into the 2024 season. All that and more when we come back on the YSN Power Hour, brought to you by our friends at Toyota of Warren.
Now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
What can you do on over 5,000 acres? At Mill Creek Metro Parks, you can discover unique habitats and wildlife, create memorable family moments, experience history, heritage, and park programs, explore scenic landscapes, take time to relax and be well, connect with nature and each other. Come see what's new at Mill Creek Metro Parks. Plan your trip now at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means taking care of our local customers.
And it's just a great feeling to put them in a vehicle and get them all excited about a new vehicle.
At the end of the day, our goal is to be someone our customers can count on.
And every day I'll go the extra mile for the community so they can trust us.
To do anything that would convenience the customer or make them feel more at home.
Realizing, number one, that we're here for them and that we're not going to go away.
That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ysn Power Hour, powered by our friends over at Toyota of Warren. Thanks to Tino and the whole crew for constantly allowing us to do what we do every day. And this is what I love. I love being able to talk to you. I love being able to put your heroes of your community on our network together and be able to make them once again heroes forever. Forever. You can see all the interviews we've ever done, ysnlive.com. Make sure you type up their name. And you can go back in time 7 years and see every one that we've ever done here on YSN. And I want to say thank you, by the way, to our friends at Athletics. The Wardles who have been taking us in after everything happened in 2023 with the derailment, giving us another opportunity, another home. If we wanted it. And what a beautiful home it is to be able to come here and talk about sports and talk about sports with sports people, right? You walk through the doors. If you haven't been to Athletics, you need to check it out. Just if nothing else, to say you've been here and to say that you've walked the halls that some of the greatest athletes have already come back to. I saw Jake Gehring, the former South Range pitcher, just hanging around. And then, of course, when you have opportunity to come and make yourself better, this is a place that you want to have it. Oh, my goodness. We got a special guest, folks. We've got a special guest that we're bringing in for a very special Coach's Corner right here on ysnlive.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the General, Mr. Andy Hake.
Oh, yeah. Dig it. Macho Man is football's about to start. America in the Valley.
The head ball coach of the Valley Christian Screaming Eagles. Coach, obviously we've had a chance to hang all summer long, and I appreciate your, being able to invite me into your home. I was there the 4th of July or thereabouts. We watched some fireworks, watched you play some wiffle ball, got some Hakamania shirts that we're going to be able to release here very soon.
Cold-blooded, baby.
What's your favorite part of this summer? What happened that you loved?
Honestly, man, just working with kids, man, in the summer, the hope in the air of a great season. It's always a special time. Everybody's 0-0. Aspirations for all teams and all kids are high. And, it's just a great time of the year, man. A lot of communication with coaches, and they're gunned up for the season. I know I have a lot of friends doing this, and I'm just hey, it's high school football. There's nothing like it, and I'm really excited to start.
I saw that 21, our friends over at Channel 21 WFMJ, featured you in one of their high school previews, as they do with every school around this area.
Okay.
They do better than anybody else. What I can tell you is I watched yours, man, a couple of times. You're pretty amped up, but you're putting all the onus on these kids where it needs to be and getting to practice every day. Well, why is that so important for you and for your squad?
Well, I think we live – one second. I think we live in an age where, kids have a lot of things to do, and they don't have to – it's an honor, I think, to be part of a team sport and playing football and playing amongst their friends and stuff. And you got to talk about things, how special it is for kids to have the opportunity to do this. And there's no other – and I say it like a lot, but I mean it. There's no other country where this happens. So, this is it's an honor to play high school football. The kids need to understand that, and kids need to, especially, at a day and age where there's so much other things to do and so many excuses not to be involved with team sports or team activities. There's something special to be a part of a team, to be a part of something better than yourself. And, you got to talk about it with kids, talk about tough conversations with kids, because if you don't, who will? And, I know the parents most of the time will, but sometimes they don't. So, talk about things that it's not touchy conversations. It's just real life, and talk about things with kids. And, being a part of a team, being a part of sports and high school sports, it's a magical thing. You're young, you never get to do it twice. I tell kids to play as many sports as they can. Don't just play football and lift. Go play basketball, go run track, go play baseball. Be a part of the team. And the team concept, and when you start talking about those things, like what is it? What's so special about the team? Well, you're learning how to cooperate with other people. You're learning how to work with other people that don't think like you sometimes, that might not see the world the way you do. And when you're able to reach out across the aisle and talk to people and express yourself, it's a special thing. And the older I get, I've been doing this. I feel like I've been doing this 100 years. I've been doing this since I was coaching varsity football, so I was 19 years old. I've been very lucky. It's been a life of coaching, and I'd rather do nothing else than this. So being around young people and helping them out and reach their goals, and that. Hey, what is life? It's finding your ability, and then it's giving it away. That's find your ability and give it away. So just focus on that and be good to kids, and go day by day. Enjoy practice. Kids got to enjoy practice. You can't go to practice. I know there's some days it's hot, it's grueling, and you got to enjoy practice. You got to enjoy going there and being good to one another and understanding, what are we really doing here? This is like the boys' club. We get to hang out and do this, and it's fun. It really is. I love practice. A lot of guys don't love practice. I love practice, day by day.
One of the guys you got on your, there's a lot of guys, a lot of dudes that you're going to have that are going to be competing this fall in just a couple weeks, as a matter of fact. But one of the guys that we've got our eyes on, Jay-Sean Lindsay, man.
Jay Bunny.
He is a absolute dog.
He's great.
One of my early favorites for potentially the YSN MVP this year for, as long as he stays healthy, the dude is he is a friend to everyone. And unless you're going against him, then he's going to be a problem. Talk to me about Jay-Sean, his growth over the last few years, and what you expect from him this year.
Well, he's a wonderful guy. This is my 4th year there, and I've started him at tailback, one back since I've been there. So his freshman year, he started, and it's been a blessing to watch him mature and the rest of the kids. And there's a lot of room to grow for him as a person, as a teammate, as an individual. Because if you quit growing, then it's over. When do you quit growing? When you die. Right. So want to keep getting better and better and better. But I think that his goals and his aspirations are high this year for himself and the team. I just try to keep him grounded with, it's great to have lofty expectations for yourself and the team, but you have to be humble and go about the world humble hearts, and just get better every day. Focus on yourself. The ceiling is as high for him as anyone, but the best guys that have ever played can be stopped, and they have been stopped. So you got to focus on yourself, and when things are going well, we're all leaders. It's when things aren't going well, who are the guys hanging in there that are encouraging others and trying to be coachable, and like I said, encouraging others. That's like the biggest thing, because you could be great, and if the other guys around you aren't motivated, you're gonna have problems in this game, or you're gonna find somebody that's like you. Or a team that's as good as you or better, and you have to do those little things right. So Jay-Sean's, he's a special guy. I got some other special guys on the team, but when he's healthy, we're in good shape. We're in good shape. When he's healthy and he's ready to go, it's like having Iron Mike Tyson on your team. So it's like street fighting man. So he's a good guy to go in a dark alley with.
Last year was a challenging year. You said that you had a very young team, and now the
youngest I've ever had.
Team's a little bit older now. So for you, do you have different expectations for these guys, and what changes from last year to this year?
I think you always go into a season wanting to win the league. I think that's like a special thing. It's never gotten old to me, trying to win the league, because that's like, hey, if you can win your league, that's a special thing. I think people take that for granted sometimes. Got to win a state title or got to go far in the playoffs. You know what? When you go into the playoffs, the football high school playoffs is a very it's just a very tough thing. There's nameless people and nameless and colorless uniforms where you don't see from weird places, and there's great teams all over the place. So if you can keep things, your feet on two ground and approach it, hey, we want to do well in our non-conference games. take every week is precious. You only get 10 of them. That's a great thing about high school football. It's so precious. You get 10 games. You got to make the most out of every week. And if you can win the league, that's a real special thing. And then when the playoffs start, put your best foot forward. But that's a tough thing to do, to say, hey, we're going to go win a state title, because you know what? There's only one state champion in every division. And there's a lot of great teams. Been close there a couple of times, been right on the precipice, and things don't work out. And when they don't, I don't ever think about what it could have, should have with those teams. I think about the great memories with great teams, and you know, it's just, you know, I think about the practices and the fun that we had in practice. And if you don't think about that, if you're just looking at the outcome, the wins, when I was younger, I think I might have looked at it more like that. As you get older, man, you got to enjoy time with kids, and then they see that you're having fun and you're more into it, caring about them individually, and less about that outcome on Friday night. And then they'll play harder for you. They will, because they're seeing, hey, this guy's a real dude day to day with us. And he's talking about the right things with us. And, you know, just got to put everything in perspective, man. Like, hey, man, you're a good dad, DJ. And I'm saying it because I see you, and I see you're a good husband. You put your family first. And if that's not what you're doing in this world, what is there? You know, other than your family, your faith and your family, what else is there? And I think that being with a team is an extended part of your family. And, you know, other than my immediate family, those dudes are my family. So you talk about it, you keep it in perspective, and then you tell guys, hey, man, I need you to play like hell for me because I'm too old. I'm not allowed to play anymore. So I need you to play like hell for me. And I can only guide from the side. That's all I can do is guide from when these games start. I used to think I could will these games foolishly. Oh, I can will us to victory. You can't. You just have to get the kids prepared and get them to play like a bunch of wild men, and then, you know, be proud of them no matter what happens and learn lessons from it.
Hey, one of us on this stream still has a record, a school record, on the halls of their alma mater. It ain't me, so let's do the math. So you can still get out there and hustle. If you had 1 year eligibility, what would you go out there and play? What position would you be now?
I would get broke at 44 years old. I mean, you know, I practice every day with the kids. I throw the ball around, and you know, I'm still able to show them, you know, hey, this is how we want to run routes. You know,
you toasting dudes?
No. Oh, I'm 44 years old. I tell them, no, if I was 18, I'd smoke your apple or something. So some of you guys pressing like this, run right past you. Are you kidding me? Pressing like, because God, you know what? You can only simulate so much in practice. You know what I mean? Real speed, like our quickness is our advantage against teams we play. And you can't simulate that in practice. You could talk about it, but to simulate that is very difficult. But that's a real advantage we have over a lot of people is athleticism and quickness. We got to find our steel to some degree. And I think, you know, toughen up a little bit at times. But our guys are really responding to us this summer. And I've been with them for 4 years now. They know what to expect from me. I'm with them, whether they're right or wrong, but they better be right. And, you know, it's tough love, but I love them. I do. I love my guys, man. I run with my dudes, man. And they know that. And our coaches are great guys to our kids. And we're building down there. And the kids are seeing facilities being upgraded and built. And, you know, the hope of a nation is on the south side of Youngstown. And we have the biggest flag in the state of Ohio draping over the south side of Youngstown right now. Folks, if you haven't been down there, we still have a country on Market Street. The biggest flag in the state of Ohio is draping over the South High. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
I was just going to ask you, tell me the story about the flag and why that kind of lightning bolt went in your mind.
Well, Koof here had a couple extra flags, and he has the biggest flag in the state, and he brought one down. I said, hey, let me have this one. He said, what do you want that flag for? I said, I'm going to go drape it over the roof of my house. And he was like, what? He said, Andy, that thing's so big it's going to blow. I said, I'm going to go put it over the back of the school, and I'm gonna dress up the back porch of the old South High. And we dropped it over there the other day at practice, and the kids went nuts. I mean, they went nuts. And, you know, I saw the class of '84 at South High had a little reunion. And then they were taking pictures on Friday. And I said, hey, come in the back of the school. I want to show you something. And these folks that graduated in 1984 went to the back of the school and they saw this flag and they all started getting pictures with it. But it's a beautiful thing. And amongst the ruins of the former Coliseum of South High, you see an American flag that would make anybody proud to fly. We might not have the best facilities in the area. We might not have all the money, but we got the biggest flag. It's not in Canfield. It's not in Boardman. It's not in Warren Harding. It's not in Fitch. It's at Old South High at Market Street. And we're proud of that, darn it. And we done.
There it is.
That's the Valley's team. That's the Valley's team. And those kids, the defenders of the red, white, and blue, and we practiced amongst the ghosts of South High, where some of the greatest games have ever been in this area. So it's a red badge of courage where we practice for our kids, and we're trying to dress it up as much as we can.
There's some special things going on over at Valley Christian right now. I had a chance to golf with Dolph a couple weeks ago. We saw the boys putting golf clubs in people's carts and you exchanging
cold-blooded dudes, man. No,
for you, why is Valley? Go ahead.
It's a special place, giving me an opportunity. It's neat. I've coached at Middle Ridge, my alma mater, ran in high school, East High, Western Reserve, and now back in the city. I've been in a lot of different atmospheres, a lot of different places with different identities. But the one thing I learned is kids are kids, and they want to be treated right. They want hope. Kids have high expectations for themselves. And if you treat them right and you encourage them and you have a high demand, you can ask for the world from them and they'll give it to you if they can. You can't fool kids. You can't fool people. People understand, hey, this is what this person's about and they believe in you or they don't. I've been fortunate enough, wherever I'm at, on myself. And it's God, family, grades, and football. And, the nation's somewhere in there. So, you got to talk about it with kids and just be honest. And I made mistakes in my life, and the school, it was welcome me with open arms, not judgmental. It's been a redemption story for me and a redemption school for me. And I'll always cherish the memories of this place. At some point, everything comes to an end. It doesn't matter, as sweet as it is. One day things come to an end, and wherever you're at, one thing is certain in life is change. Isn't that the truth? One thing that's certain is change. So as long as I'm here, I'm going to give them everything I have, and I'm going to appreciate them for who they are. And we talk a lot about social issues and things that if you don't know us, you don't belong, because we talk about it. We pray every day at practice. The kids pray. We talk about problems. And kids in our society, especially in the city, are faced with problems that sometimes it's like a black eye on the country. We don't talk about it enough. And as a coach and a mentor, you have to talk about it. You have an obligation to talk about it with kids. And we talk about it. We don't run from it. And our kids are brave, and they have things happen to them, as do all kids in our country that are tough. But in the city, I think it's magnified. And because of cyclical poverty a lot of times, I think that it's just tough sometimes. I'm a great guy that want to talk to kids about it and be mentors to them and give rides and feed. And it's just a lot of stuff that goes on, you know what I mean? And we should pay more attention to our own people and our own plight before we start looking outwards in our country, because we have things that we could address here. And really, if we're the greatest nation and the richest nation of all time, we should be focusing more on our own people than others. And I'm not trying to say don't help other people, but wouldn't it be nice if we spent billions of dollars on our own people and fix some social programs for our own people instead of spending your nation's wealth on others that sometimes you get nothing back. You get nothing back. It's not a political statement. It's a real statement. It's a real statement.
Got a question
I
for
wish
you
there's
here,
more guys
whenever you're
like
ready.
you. Yeah.
Oh, stop it.
What's the league look like?
Michael Dunn
Yeah,
says, what's the league look like?
Hi, Michael. The league, I think there's a lot of parity in the league. I think last year, Southern and United were a little bit. United had a great team, one of their better teams I've seen them have in a long time. They got some leftovers from last year, and they're pretty tough kids. I think Southern Local has guys back, and they're always tough. So, I would think that Southern Local and United, until they're beat, the champion is the champion. I think that we're in the mix. I like to think we're in the mix, but we have to grow. We have to grow as individuals and as a team. And the one thing with city teams is sometimes in the suburbs, you know what you have, and you got to sharpen the knife, but this is what we have. City guys, sometimes they get better and better as the season goes on, or they get worse depending on momentum. So we're going to hope that, the sky's the limit with our potential, but we can get better and better. Columbiana, I think Columbiana's going to be a little young. I think Latonia is still a little young. Wellsville is a young team. I think Lisbon has a nice young group of kids. If they can come to fruition, they can challenge for a league championship. East Palestine has a lot of guys returning. Your hometown.
Would you stop saying East Palestine? It's Palestine. You know better.
East Palestine. So
do we have to have another train derailment for you to say it right? What do we got to do?
The Bulldog is not dead. The Bulldog is not dead. I think the Bulldog could be tough this year. I do. I think that. But I think that the league goes through United and Southern until it doesn't. And I think that we're a wild card. We're a wild card.
United's young this year.
They have some leftover linemen.
Yeah, he's got 6 seniors this year.
Well, you got some leftover linemen, and we're a wild card. We can beat anybody. We can lose to anybody. So you know what? If we come ready to go and prepare, I think ours is preparation for the week. The kids are at practice, and they're working hard, and they're all in. We're a tough out that Friday night. If kids are taking their abilities and talents for granted, and they're missing practice, and it's they make life hard on themselves. But I think it's been meaning a lot to our kids this year to be a part of the team up to this point, and we have a lot of seniors on the team that with me.
Where are we playing the home games this year?
So you know what? Let's Liberty School, I believe. Liberty. No, we're not at Liberty. We're at Liberty.
Liberty, got it.
Yes.
Liberty.
Road Dogs. First 3 games are on the over in St. Thomas and St. Thomas, and then Brookfield or Brookfield. Hey, we're road dogs, man. Hey, our dudes will go play on beaches, on the sand. What's that old Winston Churchill? We'll fight them on the beaches. We'll fight them on the aircraft carriers. We'll fight them on the sand. We'll fight them anywhere. Fight them in the streets. Our dudes will fight, man. And we're not the best team in the area. We're not the most talented team in the area. But we're a scrappy team, man. And I like to think that we're coaching the kids up. And on Friday night, we're a dangerous team. How about the other teams in the area? South Range should have a loaded team. You and me saw them last year in the playoffs. Nice team coming back. Struthers has a nice team coming back. The Wildcat, if not now, when? Struthers should be really good.
I have a list of 11 very interesting storylines, just stories, teams that have great stories coming into the year. I know I missed a few.
Hit them up.
Struthers was one. I started with Liberty because I think Liberty's going to be a problem.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be a real problem.
Done a good job. Yeah, they have guys. They have ability. There's no doubt.
Perry, I have in there because obviously,
Division
5 state champs.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a story.
They got bumped down to D4.
Is it quarterback back?
I believe so. All I know is that they are not happy about being bumped, and they're going to be angry. But it's a different division, so we'll see how it goes. Canfield, new coach, new uniforms, new opportunities. I'm excited to see what the Cardinals have.
They play like wild men. They play wild men, man. And Canfield's not. Yeah.
Now we have a guy that's from St. John, Sam Torres. You know Sam well. He says in his early indicators are St. John, Ashtabula St. John He says 8-2 this year.
That's interesting. I mean, it's just a program that got going a few years ago after they were down and out.
Can you imagine?
I mean, they play some local teams, don't they? They play a lot of local teams.
They do. They do. We got Mohawk over in Pennsylvania, the team that I think is going to be interesting. They lost a little bit, but they continue to be really, really good every year in football. So I'm interested. Here's one, Warren JFK. They go 2-8 last year. What do you think they end up doing this year?
Kennedy is coached by an old assistant coach of mine, Damon Bente.
Yep.
And he coached with me for years at Warren or at Reserve. And Damon does a good job with those kids. You know what? Warren JFK is used to winning.
Yep.
And they're just not tolerant of not doing well. Historically, they're not very tolerant of it. And they usually don't stay in that situation. I think that he was down last year. I think that Coach Prologo, for whatever reason. He's a great coach. And I don't know what the situation is there, but I would think that, and I'm not in Kennedy's locker room, so I'm not going to speculate, but they're usually tough.
Yep.
So I think that they will be tough. How much better than last year, I don't know. But I don't think that that's a place that's tolerant of not doing well long.
To see Coach talk about, we're not going to crown our players. They've got to earn it. Like, I love when coaches speak like that.
Damon's going to coach a kid. Damon's going to coach the kids up. So you know what? He did a good job when I've always been around him. So he's going to do it. He's going to do what he has to do to get the kids prepared. They're going to be prepared. They're going to play hard. I don't know who they're playing. Usually Kennedy. I know they played South Range last year. They had a forfeited game against Sandusky Perkins. They usually play a grinder, but they have that tradition. They get a pool from a big area, so they got to play people like Ursuline, like Mooney.
It's going to be interesting.
It's not being mean, but when you have the ability to get guys, sometimes it's hard to find games, and then you have to play bigger opponents. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just if you're not loaded that particular year or you're down, you take a thumping. You know what I'm saying? It's just the nature of the beast. But Kennedy's had their run at state championships and being in there or being close, and Damon will have them prepared. There's no doubt in my mind. Damon will have those guys prepared to play ball, and then kids got to do it in the end. Yeah. Kids got to do it.
I have East Palestine at number 5, and here's why. There's a lot of chatter about this Bulldog team, and in the community, this is a team.
I just said I thought they were going to be good.
I know. I'm just giving you my insight. I think
I don't know how good, but I think they return most of their guys up front.
Up front, they're going to be dogs, and they've got a 4-year starting quarterback coming back, and they've got a freshman group that there's a lot of people in the community that have been waiting on this group to come up for a long time. So it's going to be an interesting year in old Bulldog country. So I've got them listed as a intriguing storyline here at number 5. Here's one that I thought there'd be a lot more conversation about. Ursuline and Mooney moving into this new Catholic league. I'm really interested. Ursuline, I think, is going to be outstanding. I am completely in the dark about Cardinal Mooney and what they're bringing back. And I think there's a lot of people.
I think they have a lot of guys back.
I think so too, and I think they're going to have a lot of talent on that football field every Friday night.
I think that they're coached well. They have high expectations every year, Mooney and Ursuline.
Do you think this Catholic league will prepare them better for the playoffs?
I think it's a good thing. Come on, there's been that debate for so long about, they're playing other parochial schools, and I think it's a great thing for them. They can still get non-conference games, but then they're going to play other folks that have the ability to pull guys in, and it's a good thing for them. You know what I mean? It's open enrollment. If you make your place attractive as a public school, you will get guys.
Yep. Now,
will you get guys like them? No, you won't. Go
Really?
get guys. Oh, it's a different scenario. I mean, it's a lot. It's just it's. Well, you get guys like St. Ed's if you're Fitch or Harding. Will you get guys like St. Ed's? You're going to get a bunch. You're not going to get those kind of guys. You might get one. You might get two. But to attract, it's the attractiveness of and the thought. St. Ed's and Massillon's able to do that. But look at Massillon; it's like an insane place. They want to win. You know what I mean? They want to win. They want to win at all costs, and you can't be mad at them for that. But I think that you can attract kids to your district if you have an attractive program. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. But to maintain that every year, like some of these parochial schools have done, it's tough to do. Is it impossible? No, but it's very tough to do. I think public schools a lot of times go in cycles. You know what I mean? And it happens in parochial schools. Mooney was down for a few years. Ursula was down a few years. Is Ursula in Division 3 now or 4?
I think they're I don't know. It's my mind's still in baseball mode. Let me finish this list.
I think Ursula would be hard pressed not to. They can win a state title this year. I think.
I believe so too.
They got enough firepower.
I think there is a number of schools that potentially could win a state title.
Do you really think that?
I do.
To win
I think
the state title.
I think that I have West Branch at 2, South Range at 1. Okay, I think South Range. Surprise, surprise, right? I think South Range has a clear path to D5 title.
That's the great thing about football. Play it out.
Well, and I say clear path. There's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people that'll say clear path. Okay, what like that? They're guaranteed. No.
Well, someone knows the blueprint in this area right now. It's them.
And that's what I'm saying.
And I don't. With Perry being out, some of the monsters. Is Kirtland's in 6.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the monsters. I think Ursula's 3. Is Glenville 3?
4.
Is Toledo 4?
Glenville's 4.
A lot of times it's a monster. What monster is in my region?
Well, and that's Perry was the monster.
Is Toledo Central Catholic too?
I think yes, I believe so.
Okay, so that's a different kind of monster, also.
Perry gave a lot of people nightmares in D5 last year. Obviously, winning a state championship. Them moving to 4, I think, gives a different kind of nightmare and different kind of problem to the D4 teams. But D5 now, you look at that and you go South. If you're South Range, you go, okay, we can lock in a little bit. Oh,
I'm rooting for them. I hope they win the whole thing.
Another team that I think is going to make a hell of a run. Hell of a run, West Branch.
Struthers.
Struthers.
Cooper's our head coach. I coached him at reserve. He's a great kid. He has more kids back this year than he's had since he's been head coach. He has 20-some starters back. If not now, when? If not now, when?
If they've got a 3-man competition at quarterback, and if they figure that out, oh boy.
Well, their lines back, their skills, but they got guys back. And
Molinix has a chance to be the all-time leading rusher in West Branch history. I read.
Yes, they can do awesome. It comes, when we're talking the conversation of winning a state title, it's very difficult. Can you do it? Yes. We watched Poland do it. We watched South Range do it. We watched some local teams do it. Canfield done it. Ursuline's done it. But, until people really are educated about what sacrifices some of these communities make in order for themselves to have a great football team, there's a sacrifice. Those teams out west, Marion Local, Coldwater, and Versailles, Minster, Anna, that's all in one league. The sacrifice they make. There's two parent homes. They live in the community. A lot of their parents and grandparents went there. They're all on the same page with a lot of the coach is saying things that they're talking about with the family. Kirtland's up in the north where we're at. It's a monster. Just to think we're going to roll the ball out and beat Kirtland. No, you're not. No, you're not. As a matter of fact, Kirtland plays any team in this area, and they're Division 6. They can beat any team in this area. They can. Not saying they will. That's not what I'm saying. They can. They could shorten the game. They can run the ball. They can get first downs. If you screw up, they get the ball and they score. Next thing you know, you're a great team. You're losing to them. I've watched it many. It's not me coming up with. This isn't Stephen A. Smith. Is that his name? And just saying things that are ridiculous sometimes. Marion Local. What have they won? 11 out of the last 12 state champions. That's not some. You see their dudes are all like 6'1", 200 to 220. That's not me making some bold, crazy prediction. They would beat, most teams in our area. And that's not the monsters of D3 and D4. So I don't know. Can there see some teams win state titles? Sure. Do they win them every year? When's the last time we had a state champion in a public school other than South Range and Canfield? I believe it was 99 Poland.
Football, you're talking.
Yes, I believe. I'm not 100% accurate. State champion, public school. It was Canfield and South Range. Before that, I believe it was 99 Poland.
I think you're right.
Okay. So
I feel bad. I feel bad not knowing that, but I think you're right.
No, it's just not about me saying
then Lisbon, right?
Yes, 95 Lisbon. Yeah, I'm just not saying crazy stuff. You bring logic and reasoning to the conversation. And
let me ask you. We got to jump, but let me ask you one more question before I let you go. We're going to do this weekly, obviously, probably more than one time throughout the week.
We love our country.
We do.
We love talking sports.
This season, 2024. For the Valley Christian Eagles is successful if
I think comes down if the kids really believe and buy into not the coaches, buy into themselves, buy into your abilities and work hard, be a good teammate. I always say, man, to win games in football, it's really simple. You got to be at practice. You have to be a good teammate. You have to be coachable. A lot of times everything else takes care of itself. You have to be coachable. You have to be a good teammate. You have to take criticism to help yourself and the team out. You have to be a good teammate and be good to others. And then you got to be at practice. If you do those three things, a lot of times you have to have chicken and make chicken soup, dude. So you got to have some chicken, but you don't have to have a whole can full of chicken. You just need some chicken. And then you got to do those three things. And it's really not – we make it harder than it has to be. And then, damn it, you got to be brave. You have to be brave playing high school sports in general. And football, you got to be brave. Because, you're not playing the Cleveland Browns every week. You're not seeing guys 6'6", 280. You're not seeing that. Everybody has a couple guys, and then it comes down to being brave. And, hey, what would Rocky do? He'd go to the body and wear him out. You got to go to the body and be brave and wear people out. And the best teams do that. The teams like South Range and West Brant, they figured it out. And there's other schools, Springfield, who's really successful in Trumbull County for a long time. McDonald's been very successful through the years. And, hey, they believe in themselves. They're not worrying about what other people think about them. You can't worry about that. And you have to talk about that with your kids and then go after people, man. And then don't look at the schedule as if, hey, we got a circle. It's nice to have rivals and stuff, but boy, you got to go week by week because if you don't, you get caught with your pants down, and that's when you get knocked off. But what other news lines you said you had? We were at number 4, I think.
No, we went through all of them. You were at 3. You guys were at 3. I'm really interested to see the season for you guys. I really am.
Hey, me too. That's my number 1.
It better be your number 1.
Andy
Hake joins us as always. Such a great friend of the program, great friend to me personally. One of my best friends, as a matter of fact. I can't thank you enough for bailing me out today, man. The comeback of Ysn Power Hour. It's only fair that you're here.
Hey, I'm going to say this, man. I want to say this too, because when you talk about things, you don't want to sound like you're being. I wish best of luck to every team in this area, every coach, every team, public, parochial. Hey, we're all under the American flag. And I hope what's best for everybody. You know what? It's nice to have Jay Sean Lindsay's and guys that are stars. But you know what makes up high school football? Because 90%, 99%, 90 to 95% of the guys don't get postseason accolades. They don't get all state. They don't get all league. They don't get all Northeast Ohio. They don't get all county. What makes up sports is the guys that are on the team that sell out and buy into the team. And those guys are the ones that make up high school football, because you don't have heroes unless you have the common man fighting and the common player that buy into team. Because Jay Sean Lindsay ain't scoring unless guys are blocking. And there's stars on every team that aren't stars unless their teammates buy into the concepts and principles and ideas of being a great teammate. So, you know what? Good luck to everybody this year. I hope they all win them all, man. I hope everybody has success. Stay healthy, and this shout out goes out to the common soldier in every community and school that makes up their team. Without you, there is no high school football. There is no sports. There is no country. So, hey, as always, America, man.
America first. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate you, buddy.
Dream big, love your country.
That's going to do it for our show today. Thanks to the head ball coach, the General, Mr. Andy Hake. And thanks to all of you for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow 3 to 4 right here on YSN. We're back, baby, and better than ever. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of